Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. So glad that you decided to stop by. I'm Becca, and on this channel, I'm just kind of reacting my way through eating disorder recovery and chronic illness one video at a time. I've been working my way through a lot of Ren's back catalog lately. Of course, I've done 3 songs thus far, all of which were very emotional, so I put a poll on the community tab. The 2 rap songs that kept coming up more often than others were The Hunger and Genesis in comments. Of course, you all have left tons of comments with many other songs, but those were the 2 that I initially saw the most, so I put those up on a poll. You voted of those 2 to do The Hunger first, so that's what we're getting into today, and I'm so excited. I've heard that this is like his really going hard, going off. This is my braggadocious song. I love wordplay, I love rhyme schemes, I love all this stuff. I geek out over it so much, and I'll be honest, I get a little nervous every time I start to record a video because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I screw this one up? What if I miss everything? What if I don't catch anything? But we're just gonna see, with a little bit of change of pace here, we're doing The Hunger. And I can see just from this very first part of the video, right where it starts, before I've even pressed play, it has that pig's head on a stake there, which, as we know from his other videos, symbolizes a lot of stuff. It can kind of be a reference to Lord of the Flies, where it signifies all of the evil and darkness that was in the boys, and the devil and Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies himself. And then also, we know in his videos, he's used it to signify capitalism, to signify consumerism, to signify the medical industry complex. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to dive into the pig that much more right now, though, because we're just going to get into the video. So here is The Hunger. I just gotta chill because I'm so excited to do this. All right, let's go.
Poison in my veins lights a flame in my brain that maintains the pain that may change my frame of mind. Blind, I design rhymes intertwined, double time, genuine Frankenstein. I made a monster.
Okay, of course we'll go back to get the transition there. I'm not going to make you miss the transition getting into more of this, but I just want to go over that first part here. First of all, when he first started out, I'm amazed in all of these songs thus far how whatever instrument he's using towards the beginning, whatever he is using for like the musical background at the beginning, starts out really sparse, and he utilizes a lot of things that are not necessarily the things that you hear on the backing tracks, on the instrumental tracks for different raps and everything like that. It sounded like maybe he was using, it was either like a kettle drum or a cowbell there. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but like just that very simple single note percussive thing, and then his voice comes in. It's almost like his voice is playing off of that there, so they're like in sync there. It's really cool. I can already tell he's going to completely go off just from the way that he delivered that very first intro section. And to get to the actual lines, I was noticing there when he was delivering those lines, he was like facial reactions when he was getting stuff, and the line said, you know, poison in my veins lights a flame in my brain that maintains the pain that may change my frame of mind. Poison in my veins could be all the medication that he's taken for psychiatric reasons to treat Lyme disease. All that could also be the Lyme disease and the other co-infections in the bacteria itself in his veins. Poison in his veins lights a flame in his brain. We know he's dealt with brain damage from both Lyme disease itself and from treatments that maybe weren't accurate at the time, so his brain is literally attacking itself, like autoimmune attacking itself. And a phrase that is very common in that community of people who are dealing with that is brain on fire. There's actually a documentary by that name. But I think that's what that poison in my veins like the flame in my brain part, and then that maintains the pain that may change my frame of mind. So the flame in his brain is maintaining this pain that he's feeling. And I will see what he means when we get further into it. But I'm thinking when he says that may change my frame of mind is that that pain can take you from this really, really okay place and send you down a really dark spiral. Or maybe he'll surprise me here, and with this general feel of this song, maybe it's going to be something that drives him to go back towards the light more than getting stuck in the darkness and the pain. He said, blind, I design rhymes intertwined, double time, genuine Frankenstein. I made a monster. First of all, I like that little beat in there before he does that I made a monster line. Sometimes the pauses, sometimes the rests that are incorporated like that are actually like the things that can make the delivery even more impressive and even more effective. And I think he's also kind of saying with that blind reference there, he can't necessarily see what's coming in life, but he still designs rhymes and intertwines them. And he said double time, genuine Frankenstein. So he's like combining all these different genres, combining all these different words and wordplay and metaphors and flows and all of that to create this monster, in this case, this monster of a performance that I think we're getting ready to see, meaning it's going to be awesome and crush everything else. And yeah, let's get back into that transition and keep going.
Genuine Frankenstein, I made a monster. Conquer, music scene, golden ticket, Wonka, conjure. Lyrics in my belly, I got thunder. Younger, everybody wishes they were younger. The older I'm getting, the more I feel the hunger.
Oh my gosh, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Okay, so I think I'm gonna start working from the back of that there. The older I'm getting, the more I feel the hunger. I think he's talking about, obviously, in the rap game here, the hunger to do something, the hunger to get his music out there, the hunger to finally reach the people that, as we all know, he's now finally reaching, and it's amazing to watch that happen. Also, the line before that, though, he says, younger, everybody wishes they were younger. Yeah, that's true because we're in the society where we feel like aging in general is looked down upon and we're always trying to be younger, trying to do all this stuff. And I think that the older I'm getting, the more I feel the hunger also can reply to like the older that I'm getting, the more I feel the drive to keep trying to be younger and keep trying to be younger. So I think even there, he's got double meanings. And I love that he referenced Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory there when he said, conquer music scene, golden ticket Wonka, conjure, lyrics in my belly, I got thunder. I love that there. But I definitely think those last two lines are him about feeling the hunger to drive to try to feel younger, or maybe feeling the pressure from society to try to be younger, or most likely, given the nature of this song, he's feeling the hunger to just go out and get him and do his stuff and finally just get it done. So, whoa.
They were younger, the older I'm getting, the more I feel the hunger. Bout to like a welterweight, how to scout and need Alka-Seltzer, alpha, beta, delta. I help you into the fall, I shelter melt. A mind a team with these rhymes, and I find you never felt. So feeling like this, feeling me, believing I'm a demon, I'm a devil. The game completed every level, I'm a vessel. For spirit.
What? What? Okay, for context here, I've been a huge stan of Eminem since 1999, and caveat, I'm not someone who likes comparing rappers to other rappers or saying, oh, they're the next this, or oh, they stole the style from that. Ren obviously does his own thing in his own lane and crosses multiple genres, so if I bring up an artist like him, it's not that I am necessarily comparing them, but I just bring up Eminem to say that his lyricism, as we all know, he's very good at the multi-syllabic rhyme schemes, multiple entendres, and the just speed and the flow and all of that. So I've always been a fan of that, and Rin just crushed it with just the beginning of this. We're 40 seconds into this song and he has already just packed so much in there. The scheme that he had there, the rhymes throughout the line and just the flow, the belter like a welterweight, helter-skelter need Alka-Seltzer. That welterweight, I believe it's a weight there, like in fighting, I think it's between like lightweight and middleweight. I think it's somewhere in between there. So he's talking belter like a welterweight. I'm assuming he's saying he's giving his words out there. He doesn't feel like he's a lightweight. He doesn't necessarily feel like he's higher than that either, but he's just kind of like out. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm taking my punches. I'm doing that here. Need Alka-Seltzer. He said that line earlier that said, conjure lyrics in my belly, I got thunder. And so I think that Alka-Seltzer there, he's like, okay, well, give me some metaphorical Alka-Seltzer. Give me some Alka-Seltzer so I can settle down a little bit. Maybe tame that hunger a little bit because I'm really hungry. Metaphorically here.
Belter like a welterweight, how to scout and need Alka-Seltzer, alpha, beta, delta. I help you into the fall, I shelter melt. A mind a team with these rhymes, and I find you never felt. So feeling like this, feeling me, believing I'm a demon, I'm a devil.
Melt a mind or two with these rhymes, you might find you never felt. Did you catch that? Like that flow there. He is just so in the pocket. It is so smooth. That flow there, that melt a mind or two with these rhymes, you might find you never felt like that. You might find that is just so like, if you're writing lyrics or writing raps to a beat and stuff, a lot of times it stays very elementary. Even if it's super technical, it still stays very much on beat. That little twist of phrase there is what I was kind of talking about with the stuff that has enamored me with Eminem for years, is his ability to twist words and twist phrases and elongate and shorten and put them all together there. And that's exactly what Rin is crushing here, the ability to just put these words together and deliver them in a flow that is, 1, unique, 2, really impressive, and 3, just so in the pocket and so smooth and perfectly delivered that melt a mind or two with these rhymes, you might find you never felt like I'm... that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. Being able to know the words you want to say and find a way to fit them into the line. Oh my gosh, I love rhyme schemes like that. I love rhyme schemes like that. You might find you never felt it. Just, I don't know. I love when artists can do that and execute it really well, because sometimes people try to shove words in there that they can't really deliver that well. That was an example of it being awesome.
Out of mind, it's with these rhymes, and I find you never felt. So feeling like this, feeling me, believing I'm a demon, I'm a devil. The game completed every level, I'm a vessel. For spirits a channeler, I'm a lyrics, I'm a rebel. I raise my fist, the anti-capitalistic pissed, I revel. In society collapsing, fantastic, now pump the treble. Tick to the top with the tip of my tongue and time into
Okay, now hold on, we gotta pause it. We're gonna have to get back into this section. I wanna go over what we just heard for a minute because he's obviously going rapid fire here. So, in the lines that we talked earlier, he referenced Fallout Shelter. I think that coming back to these lines that he just said, forget the game, completed every level, I'm a vessel. I think that was also a Call of the the game Fallout, because don't you have to like build your own shelter for like a zombie apocalypse or something in the Fallout games? I'm somewhat familiar with them, but I've never actually played them. But I think that's what he's saying there. Forget the game, completed every level, call out to that Fallout shelter line, and also the rap game in general. He feels like he's done the stuff. And then the rest of that little section there, he says, I'm a vessel for spirits to channel out of my lyrics, which I think we can, those internal rhymes there. So he's ending the lines with the rhyme scheme like the AAA, the vessel, rebel, revel, treble. That's the rhyme scheme he's using at the end of the lines here. But inside it, you've got for spirits to channel out of my lyrics. Like those internal rhymes, they're just amazing. It's amazing when artists can do that and just do it so well. I love it. For spirits to channel out of my lyrics, I'm a rebel. I raise my fist, the anti-capitalistic. So that one kind of does it too. Fist and anti-capitalistic. I can't even, I love it. I love it. And then at the end there, he said, now pump the treble. And that's when he's getting ready to start going to rapid fire. So I think, let's hear what instrumentals were coming in there, because I wasn't so much paying attention to that. I was listening to his voice. Let's see what's going on here.
Raise my fist, the anti-capitalistic pissed I revel. In society collapsing, fantastic, now pump the treble. Tick to the top with the tip of my tongue and tap into telepathy. Terrify them with the terrible telekinesis tantrum. It's how to the enemies. Flowing and flowing and growing and flowing. I swallow the flow like a Toblerone. And I'm feasting and flowing my beast with the flow. Then I'm switching it up and I'm taking it low.
Did I hear him say I swallow the flow like a Toblerone? Hold on. We're gonna get to these lyrics. That one line just really made me laugh there. I'm pretty sure he said I swallowed the flow like a Toblerone, which is cracking me up. But we're gonna get there. Let's see. Oh my gosh, that flow is insane. That flow, man. Oh my goodness, he's got bars. He's got bars and delivery and wordplay and literally everything I could ask for in a rap song already, and we're not even a full minute in. Let's check out those lyrics though, where he started going pretty rapid fire there. He said, tick top off the top of the tip of my tongue, I am tapping telepathy. Oh my goodness! Did you hear that? That alliteration there? And that's really hard to deliver that type of alliteration in the way and the speed and the style in which he's delivering it. Oh my gosh. Tick top off the tip of my tongue, I am tapping telepathy. Terrify them with a terrible telekinesis tantrum. Yes, I torture the enemy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. I think what he's saying there, telekinesis is of course being able to kind of psychically and psychologically get into someone's head without actually doing anything physical. He's saying delivering this telekinesis tantrum. He's delivering this super rapid fire hardcore I am here rap and here's how it goes. And it's going to be stuck in your head and you can't help but being affected by it. Hence telekinesis, because he's most likely not there with you, but if you're watching the song, it's going to get stuck in your head, and that's kind of his goal. He's doing this telekinesis tantrum, meaning he's going off, it's going to get stuck in your head. I torture the enemy. Could be the societal enemy that he's just always talking about, that type of stuff, or he could just be talking about other people in the game who are tortured by his lyrics because his lyricism is already so out of this world, and we're not even halfway through this daggone song. And then, yes, we're getting to the line that I did hear correctly, actually.
Flowing and flowing and growing and flowing, I swallow the flow like a Toblerone. And I'm feasting and flowing my beast with the flow, then I'm switching it up and I'm taking it low.
Okay, slowing the flow and then growing the flow. So he's showing all the different ways that he's doing it, even within the same song here. He started off a little bit slower than this, and now he's getting into it really high speed here. I love that back and forth, but that line, that slowing the flow and then growing the flow, and I swallow the flow like a Toblerone. First of all, I want to point out, Toblerone, if you don't know what a Toblerone is, it's a chocolate bar, essentially. They're kind of famous for being in airports, but they're also just a famous brand of chocolate bars. They're made in like little triangle shapes. It's very interesting, but maybe I'm just a fan of the show Friends and they reference Toblerones in relationship to the airport, so maybe that's the only reason I have the airport in my mind. But regardless, the way that he stretched out that word there, I swallow the float like a Toblerone, that word is actually, to my knowledge, just pronounced Toblerone, 3 syllables. But he stretched out that word there to fit the beat, and I love it. He did a similar thing on Sick Boy when he's saying, looking for a fix boy, anabolic steroids. Like, I love it when artists can do that. It's so impressive to me. And he says, I'm a feast on the flow, I'm a beast with the flow. So he's going to feast, swallow the flow like a Toblerone chocolate bar. He's going to feast on the flow. He's a beast with the flow, meaning he's right in the pocket. He can go hard. He is attacking it like a lot of people really can't. Then he's switching it up and he's taking it low. So he was talking about, let's bring in the treble, and you heard those kind of like higher pitched percussive stuff coming in, and he was doing this faster rap thing. Now he said, switching it up and I'm taking it low. So let's see which direction he's going here. Of course, rewinding it back a little bit to make sure we don't miss that transition again.
I'm feasting and flowing my beast with the flow, then I'm switching it up and I'm taking it low. Kitty with the black heart in the car park by Primark, jamming Django, Reinhardt, living with a raw star, refine rats, we'll find art, Vincent Van Gogh, I start making my mark.
Hold on a sec. All right. First of all, Obviously, the flows there is sick, and we're gonna get into that. Right before I paused it there, that little smile on his face when he pulled out what I'm assuming are these firecrackers or these fireworks here. He's got him there and he's holding him. He's kind of like giving this little like mischievous grin. He's like, let's go. Let's freaking go. Let's see what's about to happen here. And then when he said, let's take it low, he literally looked down low, and obviously he was getting those out of his pockets, but he actually put his head to where he's looking down low. So the way that this man not only can write, not only can deliver, but also literally acts out every single part of his lyrics when he's delivering these songs, no matter what genre, no matter what subject matter, no matter what it is, it's amazing. The way his physicality, his ability to do that is just blowing my mind. And as far as the lyrics in that section, it's like Kitty with a Black Heart in a Car Park by Primark, jamming Django Reinhardt, living like a rock star, refine rap to a fine art, Vincent Van Gogh, I start making my mark like Frankie Sinatra, King, call me Arthur. I'm sure I'm missing something really obvious with the Kitty with a Black Heart in a Car Park by Primark. I know Primark is a store that is overseas there. I don't know if there's like a Black Heart type thing. I don't know if that relates to that. I could be missing something obvious there because I'm American and we're a lot of times ignorant to a lot of just everyday stuff like that are not in our country, even when we try not to be. And then all of the references to the people here, but he says Django Reinhardt, living like a rock star. I think Django Reinhardt was a jazz artist. And then living like a rock star, refine rap to a fine art, Vincent Van Gogh, I start. So he's refining rap to a fine art. Vincent Van Gogh, obviously an artist who made some of the most famous work, which was not appreciated in his lifetime. And the Doctor Who episode that kind of deals with that is both heartbreaking and also very heartwarming and really a great ride. However, he's saying he's refining rap to a fine art like Vincent Van Gogh, I start. Other thing there, though, we know that Vincent Van Gogh dealt with a lot of mental health issues himself. He even cut off his own ear. So I think there's a lot more meaning to there than just Vincent Van Gogh being an artist, that he's also struggled with some really difficult things, but is still finding a way to churn out this fine art. And he's like, I start, and that goes into the next line, I start making my mark like Frankie Sinatra, King, call me Arthur. So Frankie Sinatra there, call out to Frank Sinatra, obviously one of the all-time greats. My husband is actually a huge Sinatra fan, and we love it. So I love that he gave that shout out there, and that line, King, call me Arthur, like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, all of that mythology. We know he loves using those types of references, so I love the way he put it in there. And I mentioned that little smile that he got on his face there when I had first paused it, and I love the way that he was just kind of sing-songy delivering that line, making my mark like Frankie Sinatra, King, call me Arthur. Like, again, the fact that he has used so many different flows in this one song is just, it's really difficult to write stuff like this, much less deliver it as well as he does. My goodness.
Vincent Van Gogh, I start making my mark like Frankie Sinatra, King, call me Arthur. And my style is homegrown like growing Cali weed. Don't need no personal trainer, I got trainers on my feet. You know I got the soul in my bowl when I eat. You know I'm staying grounded when I grind up my beef. But if you got a problem, my brother, I might just put on some rubber gloves and just choke it till larynx ruptures and blood that just bubbles up, and the bubbles just double up and you struggle. But lucky suckers, I'm subtle at covering up the trouble. Cover up the crimes.
Oh my gosh, so many bars in that verse. Bars, man. Bars on bars on bars. And my style is homegrown like growing Cali weed. I don't think that needs explanation. Homegrown weed, obviously. Don't need no personal trainer. I got trainers on my feet, meaning the shoes he's wearing so he can run. Doesn't need anybody else to do it for him. You know I got the soul in my bowl when I eat. You know I'm staying grounded when I grind up my beef. Obviously, there's the direct application of ground beef there, literally. But also, when he grinds up his beef, meaning when he gets on the track, when he shreds whatever beef other artists may have with him, whatever hate he may be getting online or anything like that. He recently posted something that was talking about hate online and how artists in like past decades didn't really have to deal with it because it wasn't a thing. Online wasn't a thing, and now everyone just gives their unfiltered opinion. And obviously that's reaction videos when they're done in a way that is supportive to the artist can be good, but there are also plenty of people out there who just hate for the sake of hating, no matter how awesome of a human the person is, as we all know that Rin is. So I think he meant that, play on ground beef there, but also grinding up the competition, the people who have beef with him, the people who are kind of trying to take him down and tell him he doesn't have it. But if you got a problem, my brother, I might just put on some rubber gloves. So there's like that carryover rhyme there with the brother and the rubber, then gloves at the end of the line, and just choke you till the larynx ruptures and blood, it just bubbles up. Just that rhyme scheme, again, that internal rhyme scheme that is in addition to the end rhymes there. But if you got a problem, my brother, I just might put on some rubber gloves and choke you till your larynx ruptures and blood just bubbles up, and the bubbles just double up, and you struggle but luck is up, because I'm subtle at covering up the trouble. Like, that ubble and that rhyme scheme there is just done so masterfully. Like, this reaction feels a little different than my others, because I know the others were very emotional. I was able to connect to them. I feel like I'm doing a really poor job at analyzing these lines, because I can't not try to pay attention to every intricacy, so if that's not the type of reaction you enjoy, then I apologize. I will continue to do all the other styles, but I'm amazed at his delivery here. I'm amazed at the way he's written this, at the way he's delivered it. Holy moly. Oh, and that imagery there. And I do think that he's talking about the beef that his enemies or that his haters have with him, because he's saying, but if you got a problem, my brother, I might just have to put on some rubber gloves and choke you till your larynx ruptures and blood, it just bubbles up. Also sort of kind of, I know that this was put out beforehand, but there is sort of some imagery there where he's talking about rapping with a slit throat, I believe in High Ren. I think it's in High Ren. No, Sick Boy. Rapping with a slit throat. In the ending of a bad joke. Okay, yeah, it's in Sick Boy. It's in Sick Boy, where he was talking about rapping with a slit throat there. And I don't know, that just kind of seemed like a little bit of an Easter egg there to me. Maybe a callback to this song. If you've got beef with me, I might just put on some rubber gloves and have to choke you. And I don't necessarily think that he's even talking about that literal action. I think he's talking about, okay, give me my gloves, I'm gonna choke you. I'm going to literally destroy you and kill you by destroying you with my words on the track. I think that's where he's going here.
But if you got a problem, my brother, I might just put on some rubber gloves and just choke you till larynx ruptures and blood that just bubbles up, and the bubbles just double up and you struggle, but luck is up, 'cause I'm subtle at covering up the trouble. Cover up the crime scene, 1990, that's my scene. My teen years were spent rolling the Thai green. Obscene fiend in a pair of baggy jeans, putting backy with the green. Roll a fatty, dopamine starts flowing. My cerebellum glowing, the pendulum is slowing. I'm swinging and I'm swaying, but I don't know where I'm going.
Oh my gosh. So his acting here is just so, like, I love his attitude here. I love his attitude. I love his swagger here. I love the way he's just going hard. He is claiming, he's like, hey, look, I can do this. You got problems with me? Well, let's just go, because I can take you. And I like that he said, cover up the crime scene, 1990, that's my scene. I know there are some people that say his birth year is ambiguous, but I'm thinking since he said 1990, that's my scene, and we know that he's either going to be 32 or 33 this year, that means he's probably born in 1990. So he's going to be 33. And then he goes on to say, my teen years were spent rolling the Thai green, obscene fiend in a pair of baggy jeans. So of course a lot of teenagers get into smoking weed, specifically if it's more accessible to them and available to them, wearing baggy jeans, all that clothing that was super popular, especially years and years ago. Then he says, putting backy with the green, roll a fatty dopamine. So he's not saying roll a fatty dopamine, roll a fatty, comma, so roll a joint. Dopamine starts flowing into the next line. Dopamine starts flowing, my cerebellum glowing. So once that kind of hits, the dopamine hit is there, and you've kind of got your brain going, and you've got your words flowing and your thoughts flowing, and he comes up with these different ideas. The pendulum is slowing, which again, I think in High Ren, we got a callback to that. I don't know which one was written before. I know that this one was released before High Ren. I don't know if High Ren was written before or after this one. So if I'm talking about Easter eggs between the two, just know that I know it could be either direction, I'm not 100% sure, but he references that pendulum is slowing, and at the spoken part specifically, at the end of High Ren, he's talking about how life feels like this eternal pendulum, you're swinging from darkness to light, and how it's like this eternal dance. It's not just something that is one destination, one journey and all of that, it's just a constant back and forth, a constant tug of war, you're having to deal with that, and he's saying, you know, when you're using something like cannabis, like weed, your brain and your thought processes, they can be enhanced creatively, but they also seem to kind of slow down and chill you out. So he's saying, you know, the pendulum is slowing, so maybe the swinging back and forth, the constant nature of just going back and forth to dark light, all of that so quickly is just kind of slowing as his nervous system slows thanks to the cannabis. So I think that is the Easter egg there, the callback to that pendulum line, that concept there, but let's rewind it just a little bit and once again get into the rest of this.
1990, that's my scene. My teen years were spent rolling the Thai green. Obscene fiend in a pair of baggy jeans, putting backy with the green. Roll a fatty, dopamine starts flowing. My cerebellum glowing, the pendulum is slowing. I'm swinging and I'm swaying, but I don't know where I'm going. Mind running, Jesse Owens, hallelujah, Leonard Cohen. All the seeds that I've been sowing, slowly growing like trees.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm swinging and I'm swaying, but I don't know where I'm going. I think that obviously could be a direct allusion to weed there and how it can kind of affect your coordination and you're not really sure of exactly where you're going or what you're doing or whatever and you feel a little like unstable and unsteady. Also though, he's swinging and he's swaying, meaning he's just going back and forth trying to find his way, trying to find his lane, trying to find his thing here. Not 100% where he's going, but that's not going to stop him from trying to do it. And then he goes in mind running Jesse Owens, who was a pretty famous runner, I believe. And then Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen, of course, being the artist of the song Hallelujah, which has been covered by so many amazing artists, but nothing really can hold a candle to Leonard's original thing. And I love the way that he also kind of put his hands together there, like prayer, like hallelujah, to illustrate that concept there. That was just great. And then he ends that line sort of tying it back to like the homegrown Cali weed or the rolling of the Thai green, all these seeds that I've been sowing slowly growing like trees. So obviously there's that cannabis metaphor throughout there as well, but also he has been putting seeds of different types of music out there, of different genres, of different things like that, exposing different groups of people to this music, and the seeds are starting to slowly grow, which means they will eventually take root, they will become trees, and as he said in, I believe, High Ren, I will rise in the music that I leave behind. I love that there. So we're getting close to the end here. This is a short song time-wise, but oh my gosh, the amount of stuff he has packed into this less than 2.5 minutes is off the chain. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. It doesn't surprise me because we already know he's awesome. I knew he was going to deliver on it, but I am amazed because I just get so astonished, and I love watching people who can pull this kind of stuff off. There are very few who can do it this well, if any, who are this versatile, as we know Ren is. So let's go back a little bit and hopefully finish this out.
Mind running Jesse Owens, hallelujah, Leonard Cohen. All the seeds that I've been sowing, slowly growing like trees. I grow, then I preach. Scrap that I teach over beats. To all.
And I like the way that when he said growing like trees, he kind of like planted himself there with his 2 feet. He just paused there and planted and stood there for just a second. It was very faint, but I love the way that he choreographs himself to his lyrics. It's amazing.
And all the seeds that I've been sowing, slowly growing like trees. I grow, then I preach. Scrap that I teach over beats. To all those that seek, teach on these streets. Streets can be bleak, but bleak was the place. But I rose to my feet.
Woo! That nod. My goodness. My goodness. First of all, that beatboxing there at the end, I have a feeling he's the one doing that because he does like everything, so I'm sure he can do that really well. Also, beatbox is difficult to deliver anyway, but the way that he was doing a lot of that with the T sounds reminds me of, like, my husband's a band director, I was in band, most of my family has been in band or is musical to some degree, and my husband specifically is also a trumpet player, so he, a lot of times when he's teaching kids and stuff, he has to teach them about double and triple tonguing, which means instead of just like making one note on the instrument, you're doing something like digga or tikka to get the sounds out, and there was just so much of that in that beatboxing that he was doing there, and it's like tikka like that was not the exact rhythm, but like the fact that he was just doing it so rapid fire like that, it's hard. Again, it's hard to do that. It's hard, but I'm not surprised that he managed to pull it off really, really well. Just to kind of go over the lines in the outro there, he says, I grow, then I preach, scrap that I teach. So he initially, he's talking about the metaphor of being planted like a tree, his seeds growing finally and reaching. He's like, then I preach. And he's like, oh no, wait, forget that. I'm not preaching because I'm not trying to like put people down. I'm not trying to just talk at people. I'm trying to share them. I'm trying to educate them. I'm trying to teach them. And then he goes on to say he teaches over beats. And this was a perfect example of that because he has packed so much smart metaphor, analogy, wordplay, all of this into this less than 2.5 minute song. He has definitely been teaching and teaching over the beats to all those that seek, teach on these streets. And I love that he put that teach on these streets because the instrumental here, the setting for the video where he was in that empty lot there with all the graffiti in there, and he had those fireworks, and he had on the baggy clothes and the big coat with the hood and all of that. It very much, I think, was an analogy to the fact that he does street performances a lot, and a lot of that musical background instrumental are the types of things you would hear in those performances. So I think he's saying, I teach over beats to all those that seek, teach on the streets. Streets can be bleak, but bleak was the place where I rose to my feet. Meaning streets if you're on the streets, a lot of times that's a term that can mean you're homeless, but also just being out on the streets of society, going out into society. If there aren't people there who are actively trying to make it a better place and connect and be kind and share compassion and just illustrate and embrace our common humanity, the streets of life of whatever city, it can be a really bleak place to be. However, he's saying that rising from wherever it is he grew up on the streets, literally, and also the general state of just things feeling bleak, I would say that probably also maybe sort of ties into some of the chronic health issues that he's dealing with, because bleak is the place where I rose to my feet. So many of his songs, so much of his wordplay, his lyricism, his music comes from a place of pain, comes from a place of bleakness that he has turned into power and shared with others so wonderfully well. And I think that might be another meaning there. I could be reaching, I could be off, but I think that's there. My gosh, guys. I sort of feel like I was a little lackluster in this reaction because there's just so much that he packed in there. There's just so much. The sheer number of allusions and metaphors and the intricate wordplay and rhyme schemes and double time rhymes and the rhymes carrying from one line to the next and all of that, this is a masterpiece. Boy's got bars. He's got bars, period. And he can spit them. And he's got flows. And I can't wait to dig into more of his rap stuff. I think the next song that I'm going to be doing, though, is Dominoes, because on the chalk outline video, you all kept suggesting that one because it actually relates to eating disorders, body dysmorphia, etc. in society and things like that. So I knew that was going to be a really emotional one, so I wanted to do this fun one in between. I'm going to try to get to Dominoes next, and we will see what happens. As always, thanks for coming by. If you enjoy these reactions, feel free to hit the subscribe button and stick around the channel. No obligation though. I'm just glad you stopped by, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.